Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Wholesale Hustler live podcast. And we're sponsored here by our partner-driven real estate coaching program, where you can get more information by either going directly to our website at petervekselman.com, or you can actually get a hold of me directly at area code 404-915-9685. I'm Peter. This is Julie.
Hey, guys.
We're excited to be here. And it's funny, I'm about ready to introduce our guest here, Ivo. It's so funny, David, who's right here in the background, he writes these up, and even the only thing he didn't put in this cool introduction, which he put in like really cool stuff, is that you used to be a coaching client of mine. Like, I should be like getting all the credit for all your successes, but I mean, he left that part out. But we are flat out excited to have you here. And you know, when I knew you were on here, I was like, God, I know him. And was it really that long that we saw each other? Was it that? I thought it was like literally like 2 months ago we saw each other.
Yeah, it feels like it, but it was back in December.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, listen, you got a ton of accomplishments, enough that I'm just gonna have to read these off because you're killing it. And you know, I was really proud of you when you started with me. I was really proud of you. I could always tell by somebody how well somebody does by what questions they ask. And I mean, just the questions and the conversations that you and I have had. I always knew you were already successful, obviously, when you hired me. But man, I'm really, really, really proud to see this stuff. This is really cool, Ivo. So let's just kind of bring everybody up to speed here. Ivo Draginov in 2008. You know, you got graduate. God, 2008 graduated from high school. I'm so old. I almost thought this was a misprint. All right. So, and then, you know, you got your license then. You got your first property and you made $26,000 on the first one. Congratulations. I lost about that much on my first one. You did that about 4 months in a business. You know, in 2016, you started HigherOffer.com, and you're doing about 8 to 10 deals per month in Phoenix there, which is cool as heck because I know Phoenix and I got some personal friends in Phoenix. That's a very competitive market, so that's awesome. This year, you started REISquad.com, where the services you offer there are multiple, but for instance, some voicemail services, SMS, marketing, skip tracing, which I heard you and Julie talking about. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be hopefully clients possibly here of yours because that's something we do a ton of. You know, you flip over 200 properties, which I could just tell you after doing this for 20 years, that puts you in a beyond upper echelons in this business. You know, you've done as many as 10 deals per month. Again, that's like a point of 1%. So that is awesome. Ivo, again, I'm so darn proud of you. I know we met a couple years ago, and welcome aboard here today. And we are just flat out excited to have you here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yes, Ivo. One thing I want to kind of pull apart from the messaging that I just heard, and having, you know, some teenagers and stuff myself, man, how incredible was it? You got your real estate license in high school?
Actually, there was a little bit, I think, the typo. So I actually graduated high school in 2006, and I got my license in 2006, but then didn't do my first flip until 2008. So
I mean, that is incredible. I know this isn't, you know, when you were in 2006, I mean, what gave you the idea to be an entrepreneur and go get your real estate license? I mean, I don't think people realize how incredible that is, that you had the foresight in your life for that.
Yeah, and for me, I've always been driven. You know, just as a kid, started working, you know, for my dad, and that's kind of where things started off. You know, in high school, I actually got my, you know, real estate classes. I think it's 90 hours of education. When I was 17, so I had to wait until my 18th birthday to basically get my license. And obviously at the time I didn't know where I want to go. I know I didn't want to be an agent. I just didn't like the retail side of things, but I just didn't know where I want to, you know, what my options are even. So, you know, 2008, with a buddy of mine, we fixed and flipped our first house, and that's just kind of how things started.
Wow, that is so cool. And hey guys, I want everybody to remember that this is a live show, so look, you got somebody here with incredible experience, incredible stories. So listen, make sure you're bringing us questions and things. I mean, you very rarely get the opportunity in life to speak to somebody like him that has a success story like he does. So take that advantage, ask those questions. So we talked about whenever you got started, but whenever you got started, this is one of my favorite questions. I mean, how many no's did you feel like you got before you got your first yes? And then how did that experience go? Because I know a lot of people get beat down with the no's, the no's, the no's, the no's. How long did it take you, man?
Well, I think so. Like, I think your question applies more to even like the wholesaling, because we experience that like on everyday basis pretty much, for the wholesaling. As far as my fix and flips back then, I mean, things were a little bit different. All of our houses were bought from bank-owned houses, short sales, bank-owned REOs.
Mm-hmm.
Market has shifted like drastically. So when I started basically wholesaling, I mean, literally my story is a little bit different. I got my first contract signed like literally the next day. I got out of Sean Terry's conference. I posted on out on Craigslist and got a deal like that same day. I'm like, this is super easy. And long story short, the deal didn't close. There was a bunch of title issues with the deal, so took me another 3 months to get my second deal. And I got a lot of no's. We mailed, I think, about 15,000 direct mail pieces between, I think, October and like, let's say January, or November and January. And obviously we got phone calls. People wanted retail. One of my mistakes was I was trying to make every single person into a deal. I mean, people wanting retail. I'm like thinking, how do I make this a deal? Today, I do things a little bit differently. If it's not a deal, it's not a deal. I move on. So my deal came in, I think, in January, maybe around the 20th of January. It was a pay-per-click ad. A guy was moving. He lived in Scottsdale, Arizona. He was relocating. I think he worked for IBM or one of the big major corporations. Mm-hmm. He was relocating, and he's like, I'm selling everything, including my furniture. I just want to be out of here. That was my first deal.
Wow. I know now it's so funny when you talk about things like that. When you get a call like that now, remember when you were first getting started and you didn't process it, and now when someone says, I'm selling all my furniture and I'm moving, and you get that feeling in your stomach like, oh, I know this is pretty close to having a deal. I know you feel that same thing now too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what I want to know is, what advice, do you have to other wholesale hustlers that are just trying to get started in real estate investing? There's a lot of people out there that look up to you. What advice do you have for them?
So I'll kind of share some of the mistakes that I made. So that's where I can kind of help somebody else getting started in the business. Like, first thing I would suggest is literally keep it simple, which I know this because I didn't do it that way. I was involved in so many different like marketing. I started pay-per-click, direct mail. I was doing Craigslist ads, hiring VAs, basically everything. And it just took a lot of time for me to get my systems correct. So the first thing that I would say is just keep it simple, focus on one strategy, whether it's direct mail, bandit signs, whatever. They all work, and they all can work very well. It's just how well do you execute it. I think that's like one of my biggest advice that I can give anybody. And then the other thing is just take action. I mean, take the right type of action. I mean, I'm not talking about, there's people that are thinking they're taking action, and that may include like designing business cards or thinking what font their website is going to be. I mean, that's not taking action. You got to talk to buyers, you got to talk to sellers, potential business partners. That's where your deals are going to come in from. So those are like, I think, the two advices that I can give anybody. And like one of those sayings that they have, just jump off the plane and then build a parachute on the way down. I mean, that's just the reality.
Absolutely. And that's, why you become so successful, because you realized, without putting that one foot in front of the other, you're never going to get anywhere, So, over there in your area, Glendale, Phoenix, Scottsdale, Arizona, which we all realize is, a very competitive marketplace. But if you're in that area, what do you feel is the best marketing that you can do, advertising there that you feel works the best?
Like I said, I think they all work. It's just how well do you execute it. I mean, there's just so much information out there on YouTube, coaches and everybody giving out free information. It's just, the information is there. You just got to take it and just perfect it for your business, for your market. Like I said, everything works. Our direct mail still works. Cold calling works for us. We're starting to do some text messages the legal way. Voice broadcasts, the press one dial transfers, which are the voice broadcasts, ringless voicemails, everything works. It's just you got to have a system behind it. Because we've gotten very, very good at generating leads, and I can generate a lot of it, tons of leads. It's just, I mean, even right now, one of the bottlenecks in my business personally is just obviously hiring and scaling up, which is a whole other thing that I have to focus on. But as far as generating leads, just take action. They're all going to work. I think our best performing campaigns are ringless voicemails and cold calling at the moment. Direct mail has always been about a 300% ROI for us.
Wow.
So.
Well, with you doing all of that stuff, let's get to the touchy feely part of it. So what has real estate afforded you the ability to do that, you just never otherwise thought would be possible?
So when I first got started in the business and wholesaling, quite honestly, my ideas as far as wholesaling was it's a means to an end. That was my first, maybe up until the beginning of this year. That's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cash generating machine. Just make the money and invest it somewhere else where it makes sense. Which obviously I'm still doing that. My end goal is to have passive income, just cash flow passive income, whether it's through rentals or buying properties, other financing them and whatnot. But lately things have just shifted a little bit. I think we can just because we've gotten so good at generating leads, I think we can explode our business and just have both businesses running at the same time. And still make, to get the cash flow from the wholesaling, which is, you can get a lot of cash flow from, the assignment fees.
Mm-hmm.
But then obviously invest in other businesses.
Hey, Ivo, I remember one thing, and this I think will be very helpful when you and I work together. Your sister, right?
Annie, yeah.
Yeah, walk us through, because you guys got a pretty unique process from the time the lead is initiated to the time you guys do something with it. Walk us through that process.
So that process has changed since we first started, but I'll kind of walk you through what we do now.
Okay.
So a lead comes in, whether it's direct mail, cold call, text message, or a slide broadcast, whatever. A lead comes in our system. Now, depending on the notes that we have, if it's a cold call, obviously somebody has talked to that person and has gotten some kind of initial notes. We go through a triage, basically. So our leads manager, her name is Sonia, she fills out the triage. So based on, it looks into motivation, timeline for selling, and then just other factors that may, depending on how motivated the seller is. If she determines that there is enough motivation, she passes it along to our acquisitions agents. From then on, they go through the whole sales process, and obviously they try to get the contract signed virtually or go to the appointment. I think about 50 to 60% of our deals right now are virtual. We still go on appointments where we are trying to increase that number even higher, just because we're going into some different markets. But so again, let's go back. So if Sonia, let's say, determines that she can't determine that there's motivation or not, she's going to make the first phone call. She's going to, hey, just wanted to find out why you're selling, what's your timeline, just kind of get the basic information. And she's going to, if she determines there's motivation based on talking to them, she passes it along to the acquisitions. If not, if she thinks it may be a retail lead, she's going to give them some price anchors. And if depending on how they respond, she decides whether to pass it or not. And obviously, if it's a retail, she outsources it to a realtor. In a nutshell, that's our process at the moment.
Cool.
That's amazing. I know we don't have this here, but what I want to know is you talked about a couple things you have coming up. I mean, what's next for you, man? I mean, what's the next big step? What's your next big dream? Because I know, with you getting started in 2008, it's only 2018. I know we've got a lot to look forward with you. I mean, I got to know what's the next thing for Ivo.
So, I mean, it's twofold, So obviously we are looking to expand our wholesale business into several different markets. And I think that comes with its own challenges as well. And, as far as, like I talked to you earlier, REI Squad is just another business for us. We're looking to expand that into different services. We're, providing, ringless voicemails, SMS, skip tracing, and a lot of other services as well, which we're going to be adding on to. And
Ivo, what markets are you looking to expand into?
Most of the markets, so we are in Phoenix. We're looking at, Vegas, a couple markets in California, Texas. So nothing on the East Coast for now.
Well, if you get some deals in Atlanta or Jacksonville and you need boots on the ground, hey, we're here for you, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'll be out there like that, especially when it comes to a deal. Well, I don't know that everybody on understands, ringless voicemail and some of these other things, but I don't, like using Slab Broadcast and getting into something like that. Someone in the company like you that kind of compiles this information and gets better pricing. I mean, Slab Broadcast is a beautiful resource. So glad you're doing that.
Yeah, and like I said, they all work. The way we do it with the Slide Broadcast is literally just we drop the voicemails. People call back. They call into a voicemail. It's a pre-screened. They basically go through a pre-screening, short, like that, 30 seconds to a minute pre-screened message, and they end up leaving voicemails. If they don't, we may call them back through a cold call.
Okay. Well, cool. So what value has Peter added in your real estate investing journey? I know y'all worked together, a while back. I mean, what do you think he added to your growth and your trajectory as it's going right now?
So I think I heard a podcast of Peter, and I may be wrong, but maybe it was on Bigger Pockets podcast. It was a while back, and just listening to him talk, I think the biggest thing, and obviously, working with him for a year and a half, the biggest thing that I got from him is just think bigger. Which, at any point in my life, I mean, there's always reason to think bigger. There's just obviously the same goes for you, Peter. You reach a certain level, you can always think bigger, and I think that's like the biggest value that I got out of him.
Well, that's amazing. Well, we do have a comment here. Miss Ann Jackson wants to know, where do you get your list for cold calling?
So we do a lot of cold calling. So, I mean, obviously, you want to go through your best list first. Anything with distress, so meaning pre-foreclosures, tax defaults, vacant properties, deceased, any of those lists. I mean, I can talk about my market in Phoenix. I mean, there's maybe like 20 to 25,000 vacant properties at a time, which through a cold calling site, we can go through them very quickly. So then I need more leads to call. Then you can basically expand that list into, equity lists, non-owner occupieds. That's going to broaden your horizon as far as the lists. But it depends how targeted you want to be. I mean, we have 8 cold callers on our team right now, so we go through lists pretty fast. So I need a lot of data to go through. So we are targeting, a lot of people that own a house in Arizona but live elsewhere.
Yeah, so your non-owner occupied list.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, guys, Ivo, I know you're busy doing deals. You got a lot left to do. Sounds like you got to get on those cold call lists. I really want to thank you so much, for being on the show today. Thank you for motivating other people. Thank you for being an influencer in this business. And, we're just so glad that you were on the Wholesale Hustlers, podcast. And, I appreciate the knowledge I'm learning from you today.
I appreciate it for having me.
Ivo, you really are. You're an inspiration to so many people. And again, it's cool from my end to see kind of where you were to where you are now. But what's really cool for me to see what's happening with you now is you're thinking even bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And you're constantly reinventing yourself. I mean, coming up with the website, the products you're offering right now. I mean, the one thing about being a successful person is successful person always has to reinvent themselves. Mm-hmm. They always have to find new opportunities. And I love how you think about it. You're a total inspiration. Tell our listeners how they can get a hold of you, either through social media or what's the best way if somebody wants to get a hold of you.
Just find me on Facebook. My email is my first and last name @gmail. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, so you can find me easily.
All right, awesome. I know we're gonna be connecting more. Guys, listen, we appreciate you all being part of this. And as you guys know, we're sponsored by our partner-driven real estate coaching program. In our partner-driven coaching program, you have the ability to learn from us how to find deals. Mm-hmm. We actually work with you. We help you with the marketing. We help you find the deals. As a partner of ours, you use my money to close on the deals. When you and I were doing this, we didn't do this. Okay, that's something that I changed literally in the last several months, and just everything has changed. But now our coaching clients are actually using my money to buy the deals, my money to fix the deals, our infrastructure here to help them fix the deals. We help them sell it, and then we split the profits 50-50. So to learn more about our partner-driven coaching program, either go to www.petervekselman.com, or you could call me directly at area code 404-948-4340. And guys, the Wholesale Hustler podcast show, we're kind of in our early stages, but we're excited. We're excited about having guys like Ivo. We are excited about having our past guest, Brian, last week. He was a phenomenal success. We're going to have a lot of other amazing people. And so where you could hear us, it's available on Spreaker. We're available on iTunes, on Google Play. And every Friday, we have a replay at 9 a.m. Eastern on, where is that?
3 and Out Radio.
Oh, that's 3 and Out Radio. Okay. See, as you can see, we're just beginning. We're still making some mistakes, but I'm glad Julie here. Again, Ivo, listen, we appreciate it. You know, our goal is to showcase guys like you, and our goal is to show other people that there's other people out there that are killing it, making a success out of this business. And we look forward to connecting to many more times with you and other people. Thanks, guys.
Yes, we want you to stay tuned next week for another episode of the Wholesale Hustler podcast. Tune in every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll see you guys next week.